Ms. Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here today. I want to echo the comments of Chairman Ryan and others on the committee regarding the Supreme Court's decision later this month on the constitutionality of the President's health care law. Many Kansans are poised to lose their subsidies, which is the only thing that makes their insurance somewhat affordable. Many of my constituents will be facing increases over 30% next year, which in addition to the loss of their subsidies will make their insurance unaffordable. And I'm extremely frustrated because I had an exchange with your predecessors, Sebelius, 3 years ago on February 28th of 2012 when she was a witness here before the committee. And on that day, I expressed my concern that I did not see anything in the President's health care law that would allow federal subsidies to flow through non-state-based exchanges. And I told her that the administration didn't have the authority to allow these subsidies to flow through federally facilitated exchanges, even though the IRS at the time was telling Congress that the distinction didn't matter. Because in the law, there is no mention of the term federally facilitated exchanges. But even though Secretary Sebelius promised me that HHS would give me a detailed answer in writing defending her interpretation of the law, she never did. And obviously this issue didn't go away, and now the Supreme Court will finally weigh in on it. And I'm equally concerned when you suggest that the decision before the Supreme Court is just about the subsidies, because it isn't. We have research here from the American Action Forum which talks about all of the positive outcomes from a decision by the Supreme Court against the administration. Over 11 million individuals freed from the individual mandate, over 260,000 businesses freed from the employer mandate, hundreds of thousands of new jobs, 1.2 million workers added to the labor force. But with limited time, what I'd like to do is turn my attention to a different topic. I've introduced legislation for the past 3 years, along with my colleague, Representative Kine from Wisconsin, to repeal a provision in the health care law that allows folks to go to their doctor to get a note in order to purchase medicines with their HSAs or FSAs. And this presents patients with a maze of government red tape that they must navigate in order to purchase over-the-counter medicines whose use saves the healthcare system money. Additionally, it presents physicians with the bizarre scenario of unnecessarily seeing patients in order to prescribe over-the-counter pain relievers or allergy medicines. This provision makes care less affordable, more confusing, clogs doctors' offices, and makes patients less likely to use over-the-counter medicine. So, Madam Secretary, I was just wondering if you think that this is good policy and if you would support us in repealing this provision.
So as I have articulated, one of the things that we are focused on is this idea of how we can improve quality and move towards affordability. This specific piece of legislation, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with and not familiar in terms of the issue that I think you're trying to resolve. And so this is one that I would want to understand. I also do want to return to where you began.
Okay, but in theory, would you support this if we could convince the chairman to mark up the bill and move it over to the Senate? Because we've done that once. It's already passed with bipartisan support out of this committee and out of the House once before.
Congresswoman, I would want to look at the substance of the issue before I could comment specifically on that. It's not one I'm familiar with.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.